folks, Tim here from Playing for Second. I wanted to cover our next unboxing, and today we were going to take a look at Striking Flint from Hollandspiele. So I grew up about in a suburb of Flint, about 10 miles north, and spent the first 35 years of my life there. My father retired from General Motors, so this game, having to do with the UAW strike in 1937, kind of hits home, it hits close to home. So figured I'd take a look at it. And Hollandaise, their Christmas special or holiday special came up. Figured I'd toss this one in the cart. Finally came in, so we're going to take a look at it. So I was taking a look, and the first thing that has me a little worried is it has an 8-page rule book. A lot of Hollandspiele games are more in the near 20 pages, so I'm interested to see how they fit the complexity of what my understanding of the game is into such a small rule book. So let's take a look. All right, 1937 UAW sit-down strike in Flint, Michigan. As we would expect, we've got a couple cards, wooden bits. This is something I don't know that I've seen necessarily in Hollandspiele titles before. They look like the, I'll say, traditional meeples. And then a standard D6, nothing too surprising there. Let's see. So from a meeple standpoint, got a chance to look ahead a little bit at this and take a look at the rule book online. Looks like there are different committees that end up working together for the strike, and each one ends up using workers and workers of their color. It looks like that's you've got the colors of the 5 different committees associated with that, plus just some purple cubes for I believe those are used for exhaustion. They end up being utilized for the different types of actions that you take, and depending on which committee, you end up using a different quantity of those exhaustion cubes. That also, depending on how many exhaustion cubes you have, speeds your round or how far you move at the end of your turn on the turn order track. We've got 2 different size cards here. All right, so we've got some standard cards. I believe these are the events. So yes, we've got the events for Striking Flint. Let's take a look at a couple of these. And from what I was looking at previously, these are you're going to be resolving these basically one per turn, and often it's going to be a situation, at least in what I saw in the rules, you may flip one, and if the removal condition is already in account, you actually you just put it to the bottom of the deck and take the next one, so you're not going to get any freebies in this game. One of the neat items for here, especially again for me, growing up in the area, it looks like these are actual real newspaper headlines from the Flint Journal. The Flint Journal is the paper that I grew up staring at for the first 30 plus years of my life. So again, something I've that hits close to home. Looks like when you pull it up, you're going to have an effect and then a removal condition. Based on that, again, you're going to draw the next one. What I saw in the notes is that the information from, or the stance of the media and from Flint Journal tended to be pretty anti-union. So just taking a look at some of the headlines that we're seeing here, seems to be maybe a little negative. So we've got striking union members capture 3rd GM plant here after rioting. Boy, yeah, that seems to be definitely painting it into a specific side of the discussion. Let's see, 8,000 workers at Buick expressed loyalty to the company during the crisis. All right, so you're kind of building up alliances there. So yeah, there's a pack of those event cards. Have to get those sleeved. I always get a little concerned with black bordered cards, and that's kind of what these are. We'll have to get those in some nice matte sleeves, because matte is the only way to go on sleeves. Just got to put that out there. I don't know if you've heard Brian. He tends to prefer the regular or glossy sleeves, and that's just a case where he's wrong. So that's where that stands. Then we've got some tarot size cards here. All right, so these are the 5 committees. We've got the Women's Emergency Brigade rank and file, so that is basically your UAW workers. You have socialists, which is a specific group of those that tend to be a little bit more disruptive within the overall union. You had the CIO, or the Congress of Industrial Organizations, that were they helped strategize with the union, and then also the UFW, so the United War Veterans of Flint, which again had a similar but slightly different perspective on the whole concept of developing a union within this environment. Sorry, trying to eliminate a little bit of glare for you there. But yeah, pretty cool, neat size cards. Print is very clear on those. All right, very good. And then this next set of cards is, these I believe are what ends up being your board. And you end up using one of these per player, and you put them you fashion them in a way that you have 3 different plants. So the plants it's a combination of the stations, which are the blue areas, and then anywhere where it isn't a blue area is considered like outside of the plant or on the street. So you might see some picketing out on the street, where you might see some more sit-down protests within the plants themselves. So yeah, and there's 6 of those, which will give you all kinds of, I'm assuming quite a bit of randomness and being able to set up totally different types of boards. Let's take a look at the chits for this game. There really aren't any chits. There is this is like the countdown track, or the timer track, and on this you're going to put the time tokens for each of the committees. They all start stacked at 1 based on, again, the actions you take and the exhaustion that you have. You're going to move on the track. And based on where you move on the track, you're going to potentially trigger something that was called, I believe, factory actions. So bounced right into, perfectly right to that page here. So we've got player actions. Just going to have 4 different actions: occupy, picket, resist, and rest. And then factory actions, they're going to happen when you land on one of those spots. And you're going to roll a die, and then based on what's going on that spot, different items. So if you have a worker there in no strike breaker, which is some of these different types of tokens, you've got 3 different types. You've got the authority, which is the badge. You have this marker, which is a scab, and then also these over here, which were called money tokens. So it's direct financial and economic incentives that were potentially, changing the minds of the folks that were in the UAW. So yeah, overall flow of play, it's going to be during your turn sequence, you're going to do these 5 things: remove workers in specific conditions, take actions, gain exhaustion. And again, that's going to be moving on that turn track. Gain exhaustion and then time passes. That's moving on that time tracker, and then the factory actions based on the conditions there, and then lastly the concessions. And it's basically it looks like that's the end of the game when you get your time tracker markers to the to wherever that concession marker is. So yeah, with this again, I took a look at the rule book online. This is one I've read through it a couple times. I'm really going to have to put it to put the game out on the table and move some pieces around to really understand exactly how it works. Got a pretty decent idea just from the rules themselves, but again, it's going to make a lot more sense once we start moving some pieces. So with that was all we have for Striking Flint. Thanks for joining me. And again, this is Tim from Playing for Second. We'll catch you next time.